And to emphasize, to break down for those who don't know, a simp is, I guess, it's pretty much the opposite of a pimp.
Oh.
You have no control over your woman,
Mm-hmm.
and you're working overtime to keep her in line.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's interesting because money wise, hustling wise, they are each other's equals.
Yeah.
But while Sam is a simp, Ginger's weakness is Lester the pimp.
Yeah. Funny enough.
No, I know that look. What does that look mean?
I got the money.
You got to.
Yes, you're way up on top now.
How you doing, Les? It's Lester, right? Sam.
Microphone check 1 2. What is this? You're watching Real Talk Though. Hi, I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who this?
All right, who this? We're here. This is which episode? Is this episode 6?
Might be.
Okay, I think this is episode 6. But more importantly, on the episode, this is the beginning of our series on Robert De Niro versus Al Pacino. Now, we know they both have historic careers in cinema, but they've been, compared throughout their careers. Like, who's the better actor? It's pretty much like Jay-Z or Nas. Who do you go with? So we're doing this year-long series on breaking down all of their films.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end, we'll say who we think is the better of the two.
Funny enough, I think all their better, most well-known roles have all had this pose commonly used.
Now, the first person we're gonna go with Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Okay. Robert De Niro is famed now for what he's done with Tribeca. He's gone into comedy. He's given his opinion on politics.
Yeah.
But he's best known for the work that he's done with Martin Scorsese and Joe Pesci.
Right.
We've covered him in a previous episode when we covered Goodfellas, and this episode we're doing Casino.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget the Irishman too.
Oh yes, the Irishman. Yeah, we should be able to get in. That should be one of our goals, to get a sit down with De Niro or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no taking away the work he's done.
Yeah.
But compared to my favorite of the two, if I had to choose, of course, gun to my head, Pacino, De Niro is the weaker interview, as we've seen. If he does appear in front of the camera willingly to sit down and okay, tell us, Bobby, tell us, Robert, Mr. De Niro, excuse me, talk. I was like, I'm talking.
But he's likely to give an interview. If you get Pacino, did you read his book? He had this book of interviews, and it's really good.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta talk about that.
Okay.
But yeah, when Pacino sits down for an interview, you're gonna get an interview. But it's so rare, you don't.
Yeah, I guess he's got to make the rounds promoting something. So
Yeah.
there is that. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
But he's more willing to.
Yeah.
Or at least you'll get more out of him when he's sitting in front of you, hey, it's me.
Yeah, when he does it,
Yeah.
But I think De Niro's probably an easier get. But either way, we should shoot for the stars. Let's see. All right. First film, Casino. Let's break this down. Directed by Martin Scorsese. It stars Robert De Niro. It stars Sharon Stone. It stars his comrade for many of his best films, Joe Pesci. All right, let's get into this film.
Okay.
All right, so it takes place in a casino. It's based off a true story.
Right. Okay.
All right. And De Niro plays Sam Rothstein.
Okay.
Who's responsible for overseeing the casino. And it's being funded by the mob. Right. What are your thoughts on the film itself?
Overall, I forget every single time how long it is.
Yeah.
It's I think, start to finish 3 hours, clean.
Yes.
And that's talking about something from 1995, which I think, Godfather 2 might have been close enough, but still not 3 hours, just underneath.
Yeah, just underneath.
So that might be the only 3 hour long film that I can remember up until, The Irishman or Avengers Endgame that might have came close.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing with Casino, at least to me, is it's 3 hours that doesn't slow down at any point.
Yeah.
But I think the film could have been done, maybe even split in two, or maybe at least had 1 hour chopped out of it and still make sense, kind of, sort of. But the 3 hours in itself, nothing's sort of out of place, and it all kind of plays and leads up into one thing to another. A lot of it is kind of, I guess, what you would call filler, but it's filler that adds to the story, adds more detail, adds to Ginger, adds to Nikki, adds to Sam, adds to everybody. My one takeaway would be, I wish I would have gotten more, rest in peace, Don Rickles, and more of his actual persona compared to what he got in the film.
Yeah.
Which I was glad to see him, but I always loved Don Rickles. I always loved his like style of comedy, just being able to make fun of anybody, have it be funny, like, okay, potentially offensive, maybe racist according to today's terms, but still.
Yeah.
I kind of would have wished that would have happened, or he would have been more directly involved.
Did I say something wrong?
You're supposed to say, I should have known better.
I'm sorry.
For the kind of money you're making, read the card. Learn the thing. You gotta pop out trailer. Sit in there and study. With your method acting, with the breathing and the bullshit. Do the lines and let's get out of here.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Let's get into Ginger first. Played by Sharon Stone, she won she was nominated for an Academy for her role. She got a Golden Globe for her performance.
Ooh, she got some globes in there too. Real nice Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she had that golden jumpsuit towards the end, right?
Yeah.
So, literally, Golden Globes.
A standard of beauty.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about blondes who are strong and domineering on screen, yeah, she's one of the ones that, you know, I'll put up with. What were your initial thoughts on Ginger before she gets involved with Sam? But what are your thoughts of her and the performance?
The performance was good. Sharon Stone always delivers as far as what she's done. I don't really recall any weak roles from her, or weak performances, better yet said. In the film, it made sense for her to be not just as appealing looking as she is, but also to play the character so well and strong as she was, in her own way, because I still think of it like she was the female equivalent of Sam as far as being able to know money better than anybody there.
Yeah.
And how he always went into detail how she had her little scams and hustles to get money out of guys, or raking so much every day like nothing, with no second thought. Did I mention she's very attractive?
Oh, she's yes.
I think I can easily emphasize that she's like beyond fine in this film.
Yeah.
I never been a fan of blondes, to be honest, but she was one of the few exceptions I made gladly because of how she looked. And I'm talking about I was 10 years old when this came out, and I already knew that thing down there was working, or eventually would. She made it work way ahead of time.
Yeah. Yes, fine white woman.
Yeah.
You know. But what I like about her character and the performance was that she thought the way a man would. Yeah. And I think that goes to your point of how she was like kind of like the equivalent of Sam Rothstein. She knew who to be friends with in order to get what she want. And she loved money. She was about her money, but she knew she had to share the wealth in order for her to make more money. So you would see she would slip a 20 or 100 to the doorman, the valet, just to make sure that what she was doing it would be done.
Which is crazy to think that she was making so much that she would easily hand out all that money to pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Because you would think at some point you'd be a little stingy just to save your own end, but you know.
Yeah. It was I guess it was her job, and you know she was good at it. You know.
Yeah.
She was I guess in today's term she would be like an independent woman. You know, she got it done. She didn't necessarily need someone to take care of her. She got it done.
What was it, Jamie Foxx? He sung that "She Got Her Own."
Yeah.
On the remix.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, she got her own, but then she becomes she gets in a relationship with Sam Rothstein, played by Robert Deniro.
Yeah.
She comes into the casino that he's overseeing, and he's immediately drawn to her.
Which is odd because you can't blame him for like immediately seeing her and like thinking, "Damn, she's fine."
Yeah.
Which you know, in and out the door as far as all the fine women he sees daily.
Yeah.
But seeing how she's so sly and sneaking the chips into her purse.
Yeah.
How she's maneuvering, like kind of commandeering the situation without anybody knowing.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the instant allure to him.
Yeah.
again, you can't blame him for liking her just by looking at her.
Yeah.
But then, where does it go from there? Because, and then he like discovers her whole past with what's his name, the guy she was involved with from her youth, and like she can't get away from. and all that.
Lester Diamond.
Lester Diamond,
Lester
yeah.
Diamond, the pimp, played by James Woods.
Very well played, actually.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
makes me think probably seen him more because you instantly recognize James Wood. It took me
Yeah.
a second to remember. Oh yeah, James Woods.
Yeah.
Do you think he plays an asshole convincingly?
I think that's who he is in real life.
I would say so.
We're gonna get into that when we talk about Pesci's character, but I think like he's not playing. He's not going too far from who he is as a person.
He ain't straying far from
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, which you can't say that about Sharon Stone. Like I think she really got into that role.
Yeah.
And she embodied the character, and that's what made her so good at it, because she stepped out of who she was to bring that character to life. I thought that was good. Yeah, and back to that scene where she's at the casino and she's with the guy and she's skimming, you know, her own money from what he's making. You know, it shows you that she knows how to make people money, but she's also conscious that I'm gonna get mine as well.
And because she calls him out on saying how little he's given her at
Yeah.
the end too.
Exactly.
Even though she probably bagged more than he made.
Yeah.
I didn't steal anything from you.
Get lost, John. Get lost!
Get lost?
Yes.
Get lost?
Yes.
Well, how about this?
She's just a part of De Niro's story, but then there's also Nikki Santoro, played by Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
They're pretty much I would guess that they're I guess lifelong friends. They've worked so much together in film, you know. But it's Pesci being Pesci in that film.
To the most.
Yeah.
To the max.
Okay.
Yeah.
The difference between his role in Casino and Goodfellas is that in this film he's a made man.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, he's a made man, and he goes into Vegas to protect Sam from other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because remember it's a mob run casino, so he's there to make the money, but he also needs to be protected from rivals, enemies, etc., etc.
You're a jagger.
What? Is yours? Your pen?
Yeah, that's my pen.
Why? No, it's a nice pen. I just didn't know what it was. I thought it was yours. I didn't want it to get lost.
Well, thank you. Why don't you take that fucking pen and shove it up your ass, you fucking jag off?
No, I was just offering you.
What's that? You hear little girl, Frankie? You hear little girl, Ace? Is that a little fucking girl? What happened to the fucking tough guy told my friend stick it up his fucking ass? Huh?
Take it easy.
I mean, he does get out of hand as per usual, as he did in Goodfellas. No surprise here, of course, what he's up to. But I was trying to propose to you a possible comparison of who was crazier, Goodfellas Pesci or Casino Pesci. And is there any way to measure that, like scale of crazy?
I think in Goodfellas, he's crazier. I mean, he shot what's the kid's name in the foot?
Oh, Spider.
Yeah, he shot Spider just
Right.
for nothing. Like, I mean, he would do things that would just like he crossed many lines in Goodfellas.
Yeah, true.
And this film, I think it's more so he likes making money, he likes being a criminal, and he was gonna do that. No matter where you put him, he was gonna make his presence known.
That's a good point, because I remember now the part that always stood out to me as far as making it clear cut, he didn't give a fuck at all, even if he was implicating Sam directly, was when he meets up at his place with the fat money guy.
Yeah.
And like he basically says to him, like, I want my money. You've been dodging me for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you can't talk to me that way, whatever. You know you can get me in trouble. And he's like, okay, well, you know that I'm crazy and I don't give a fuck about jail.
Yeah.
So I'll do what I gotta to get what I want.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's zero fucks given.
At all. No.
You know.
No.
He was who he was, and I guess in a sense he was in a way untouchable in that position that he had to an extent. They pretty much made Las Vegas, you know, and I think that's something we got to tap into. It's that it was fresh ground for the mafia when they got to Vegas. There was no one of the sort there doing what they did.
Right.
You know,
right.
it was kind of like this new opportunity that they got, and Sam wanted to preserve it, and Nicky just wanted to be a gangster and do what gangsters do.
Right.
You know, make money, make your presence known, steal, dominate. You know.
Well, his excuse in his mind was it's for the sake of Sam to benefit him by making it all big and lush and for them basically.
Yeah.
But right at the same time, pretty much burying him.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the carefully crafted thing he'd done to like make the casino like legit per se.
Yeah, because I mean, after a while, I think that's one of the things when you look at the characters. You're watching Real Talk Though. Hi, I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who this?
We're discussing Casino, starring Robert Deniro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, directed by Martin Scorsese. De Niro's character, he's more. I mean, he gets into the role of being the head of the casino, a businessman making money and then looking good. Mm-hmm. You know, he didn't want the extra drama that came with it. He just wanted to run it and be like just be a businessman and make his money. And I think Pesci's character, Nicky, saw it a different way.
While I was trying to figure out why the guy was saying what he was saying, Nicky just hit him. No matter how big a guy might be, Nicky would take him on. You beat Nicky with fists, he comes back with a bat. You beat him with a knife, he comes back with a gun. And if you beat him with a gun, you better kill him, because he'll keep coming back and back until one of you is dead.
I don't remember so much in Goodfellas, but I know here, like, I don't think there's anybody that perfectly enunciated motherfucker as good as Pesci does.
I think he said it so much that he's kind of giving it his own style. Yeah. Yeah.
Because does Sam Jackson even do it like that? No, he does
No.
his own way. Motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Sam Jackson has a higher pitch when he says it.
Yeah.
And Pesci and Casino, it's more dominating. It's like
it's more
if
brash.
there were more curses that I could put into this word to describe how I feel about you, then that
fucker.
Yeah.
And always hits the R and shit. He's a big fan of hitting R's, actually. To emphasize, I think.
Yeah.
Is the R sound threatening in that case if you hit it so hard?
I would guess so.
Motherfucker, you.
Yeah. 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 Good point. And we forget we gotta emphasize that this character that De Niro plays, it's different from previous roles because he's not Italian.
Nope.
He's not he's not Irish.
Mm-hmm.
He's Jewish.
Yeah.
And he's hired by the mob to do this because he knows how to make them money. Sam, let's get into his character. Okay, because he's called to run the casino.
Mm-hmm.
What's his character like? What do you think of him?
As much as I like the movie overall, and I always forget how much I do, regardless of how long it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to say unnecessarily, but there could have been some trimming at least. But overall, it all plays well to its favor. It makes the whole story whole for everybody involved as an arc per se. Sam is a simp. That is the biggest, greenest sore thunder stuck out at me the whole time. It's like predicting Drake and how he behaves like 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
Because, boy oh boy, like I mentioned before, and hopefully I'm onto something with it, like Ginger being the female equivalent to him as far as knowing how the money works and how it goes and works and such. How to Make Money, better yet, excuse me. He got so many clear warning signs.
Yes.
To leave her ass.
Yeah.
Or at some point kill her off.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much to put up with. If you knew her past, she wasn't shy about it.
Yeah.
2 months in, I think he might have already popped a question and said,
Yeah.
I'm going to fix you up. I'll change you around. Give me a child. Has to ask her repeatedly, can I trust you? Can I trust you with my life? And this and that, the other. And has it set up for life. I mean, it's like trying to tame a wild, like, thoroughbred horse.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you can.
Yeah.
Or trying to, like, you know, rehabilitate a pit bull has been way too damaged.
Yeah.
It's possible, but nice try if you can.
Yeah.
Don't bother otherwise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, he was simping way too much. Because how do you let a woman, how do you overhear a woman eavesdrop on her like he did in his home?
Yeah.
Saying that, I'm going to kill him, that's it.
Yeah.
And all he does is drag her, toss her a bag to grab some stuff, and kick her out the house. And not at least get the jump on killing her immediately. He's in that world.
Yeah.
It's easily done.
Yes. That's just one phone call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, and that's so fascinating. It's there. Her weakness is that she can't say no to Lester, and his weakness is he doesn't know how to control this woman, and he's kind of like this triangle, this love triangle.
It's almost disturbing, right? Because she can easily tell him no, or remind him that you begged me pretty much to be your wife, be the mother of your child, and have me around and all that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she can't do that at all with the other guy.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Like when you break that down, and then even more, it's like, how does this woman who's able to like walk into a casino and pretty much own it, but yet breaks down when Lester's around.
Right.
And he's not this clever man. He's this weak person, but for some reason he's her Achilles heel.
Well, I think she only mentions what, or I didn't maybe pay attention enough, but I know they knew each other from when they were young.
Yeah.
And she can't break away from that bond, but I forget what the bond that even connects them is to even justify that.
I don't know if it was ever mentioned, but it was just they just had this connection, you know. Yeah.
It's so weird because again, like, he had so many clear signs, like, and especially her of all things, knowing like the way to really get under his skin. Sam, I mean, is running and crying to Nicky of all people.
Yes.
Like his direct right arm guy.
Yeah.
Right hand guy. I mean, excuse me, and making him the shoulder to cry on, confessing all the bad things Sam does to her to him.
Yeah.
And knowing that'll just bother him when she could rub it in his face, like, oh, Nicky doesn't think that way, or Nicky supports me, whatever.
Ginger?
Holy shit, what have you been doing out here?
Honey, come here. Jennifer and Nick, old dear friends of mine.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Okay, Sam.
On Sam, not only is the head, but he has this way of expressing himself. He expresses himself through his clothes.
Oh yeah.
And he's very flamboyant.
Pizzazz.
Yeah. Even though the way he runs his casino, I mean, it's legit. It's strict. It's pretty much as by the books as it could be, minus the skimming on the top, which is being done in so many instances. But he expresses himself through his clothes and the way he smokes his cigarette. During the time of mafioso rap, that was an influence for people like Nas, for people like Hove, like Jay-Z. They imitated that.
Yeah, a lot.
I thought that was interesting because you see, as he becomes good at what he's doing, that's when his style starts to evolve. You know, like he starts wearing brighter colored suits as he gets comfortable in his position.
It's weird because it is ballsy and kind of putting yourself out there as far as you got to be like really raking it all in on a daily to be dressing in these colors, this flashy every day. Like if he ever wore the same thing twice at all, it'd be like a sin to him.
Yeah.
Or he feels like obligated to like, I have to dress at this kind of level in this kind of excess and this kind of drip.
Yeah.
I mean, because take a look at the jewelry box he gave her, like once they got married.
Yeah.
Like she had bracelets for like every day of the month almost.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
think it's too much if I wear these all on the same day?
You do whatever you want. Do I keep my promises or do I keep my promises?
So wonderful.
I mean, here's something. He ends up dressing like a pimp in a sense. I mean, with the flamboyant clothing.
Absolutely.
But yet he's this guy. He splurges on this one woman.
Yeah.
Who he can't really get to love him because he's pretty much paying her to stay in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like he's painting himself to be this one way, this guy that can have any girl if he really wanted in that whole casino.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he's like practically on hands and knees for her.
Yeah.
Of all girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she looks fine and everything too, but like, come on.
Yeah.
She's the one that kind of cracks the whip.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I think that's the beauty of that film. That's how when you start looking into the characters, like there's so much there, you know, and you through that you can understand how something so beautiful ends up falling apart.
Right.
You know, because
because of that one girl.
That one girl, yeah, who ends up betraying him in the worst way possible. Mm-hmm. You know, by being sponsored. I think that's what she said to Nikki. Is like, be my sponsor. I need to be sponsored, and siding with Nikki after things start to fall apart.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because even in the minute detail of how he runs the whole casino, by almost like OCD, ADHD level of like knowing who when they discover the guy with the wire on his leg.
Yeah.
Tampering with the cards. Like at a whole nother table, reading the cards from over here from that dealer. Telling his friend somehow by wiretapping all that shit.
Yeah.
And how they have to get rid of him, but still, like, knowing even that little bit of shit, too.
Yeah.
How does that guy even go into being that big of a simp, of a cuck?
Yeah.
Of just a willing victim to her, of all things.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. You're watching Real Talk, though. Hi, I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Do this.
We're talking about Casino. This is the first episode in Pacino versus De Niro, or De Niro versus Pacino. We're discussing Casino, and it's very interesting trying to understand the character of Sam Rothstein and Ginger.
I feel like we should have like a pair of dice or something to throw around.
Yeah.
Every time you name drop Casino.
Yeah, I actually do have a dice in my backpack.
Oh, see? Well, look at you, Brooklyn boy. All right.
Yeah, that is interesting. But before we get into it, everything falling apart. What are some of the standout scenes?
The ending easily, as far as Nicky and his brother concerned, always bothers me because like they really knew how to get to him because he was just so quick to jump the gun and like was it in Goodfellas or this one? No, it was this one where like there's that part of the bar where Sam gives the pen back to the guy and like he just jumps in when he says go fuck yourself to Sam, and he jumps in and just stabs the guy like with that same pen repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like how they got to him by like killing his brother in front of him, just beating him to death. Well, no, they buried him alive, both.
Yeah.
So close enough where like Nicky would have like just offed him quick, but like he has to watch him suffer.
Yeah.
The way to torment him the most, I guess.
They had to make him weak before he goes out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really break him down like that.
Yeah.
But I think a standout scene would have been like, I think when they take the guy in with the vice grip, the crank thing that like squeezes his head.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually an Irishman, actually too.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes that clear.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of like him establishing how the casino was going to be run.
Right.
Because not only did Nicky come in to protect him from other mob people and rivals, but he had to protect the casino from people that were going to come in and try to scam him, scam them out of money. And the old saying is the house always wins. So if the casino is not making money, then the mob guys can't make money, and if the mob guys don't make money, everything falls apart. Nicky's knocked off. And that's pretty much the downfall of everything.
Yeah.
We had you have Sharon Stone's character, who's in a sense she's given everything she wants from Sam, and you have Nicky, who's a made guy and is pretty much gonna get what he wants. All he has to do is protect the casino.
Right.
But somehow they both fumble it, which leads to the downfall of everything.
Right.
I think when we tap into, like, when we mentioned how Ace is a simp, that, you know, while he has all this power, he's unable to control his woman. I think that's what needs to be highlighted is that, you know, she fumbles the bag.
Big
You
time.
know,
Big time.
she didn't. She got everything, and all she had to do was just
Comply.
stay in line and away from Lester Diamond, and everything is hers.
Right.
You know, one of the powerful scenes of her being given all this jewelry and access to the only safe box with all this money and stuff is that, yo, you made it, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she kind of fumbled that. You know.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that, you're pretty much offered the world on a silver platter, proverbially speaking, everything.
Yeah.
But literally as well. The bag, accessories that go with it, anything you can pretty much fathom.
It was $1 million worth of jewelry.
Right. Easily.
You know, and I'm sure even that goes up in value.
Yeah, over time.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if let's say, for example, there was a Rolex there, guaranteed that would increase in value. Or whatever the watch is. I mean, certain watches, you know, they increase in value based on what we know. Except in hip hop culture, they like to bust down the watch and add diamonds and kill the value.
Yeah.
But if you get a plain watch and you don't add anything to it, it increases in value over time. So that $1 million worth of jewelry is a good investment in the future. Who knows? That million could be 1.5 million. That million could turn into 2 million.
Yeah.
You know? So she kind of fumbled the bag on that one.
No, she didn't kind of. She absolutely did.
Yeah.
Not looking out for herself, not looking out for the better interest of herself, her daughter, as well, and not being able to stay away from, of all people, I wouldn't even say a simp because he's not. That's Sam, like 100%. But Lester, of all people, just a manipulator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's absolutely not a simp. He's the opposite of. He knows how to work her.
Yeah.
To get her to do what he wants.
Yeah. I mean, based off that relationship that they have, he knows her weak points. He knows what buttons to push to get what he wants. He knows what sadness. I guess she also sympathizes with him as well, which is unlike, you know, she doesn't sympathize with Ace.
No.
Which is so weird because, like, he's the simp, but she doesn't sympathize with him. But she's able to sympathize with the pimp. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, that's fascinating in itself. And then of course she ends up going over to Nikki, and Nikki becomes her pimp.
Right.
You know, in a sense, like her sponsor, which is what she said. You know.
Right. He's busy running an empire, and like he admits to it. Okay, working 18-hour days, watching over everybody possible to see who inside that immediate circle of trust, or lackeys, whatever, like who might be skimming off the top too much.
Yeah.
Too much to make it like a blemish on the whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
And he's got to come back home to her. Just like all she has to worry about is spending money and how.
Yeah.
And like giving a stipend, an allowance of like whatever she wants pretty much in that city. Maybe that's it too, because it's like it is an empire that he's running.
Yeah.
That he's the forefront of pretty much.
Yeah.
But then it's only Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So she has nowhere else to go outside of that immediate like perimeter per se.
With Nikki, you know, he says it that after what they did in Vegas, mob guys never got the opportunity to get something as big as Vegas before.
Right.
And they kind of ruined a big opportunity. Everything they had was for them. Like, there was no way to really lose. I mean, of course you have FBI agents spying here and there, but if they don't get out of control, they all win.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end, what the beauty of it is, you really see, unlike other mob films, the star of it all lasts to the end.
Yeah.
You know, like Sam's still there in the end. While Ginger ends up fumbling everything, she loses everything through drugs and all these things. Nicky's knocked off, Sam is still there. He goes back to who he was, and he's still winning, and he's still making money.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Yeah.
It's just odd to think because it's a matter of okay, he runs his whole place. It's under his control. He's left alone to like do what he wants because they blindly trust him enough because he's so maniacal about money.
Yeah, he knows how to make that money.
Coming in, a little bit that goes out. I even love like that part where he breaks down the science of how he got his money back from that Japanese guy.
Yes, yeah, that's a powerful one. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he came in and he made a killing.
Right.
But just like any hustler, just like any addict, any gambler, at some point, I think he gave all the money back plus $1 million or something like that.
Right. He ended up getting like everything he possibly lost.
Yeah.
Out of him, he bled him dry.
And it goes back to that thing, the house always wins. And I think even that, when you look at Sam Rothstein, he kind of embodies the house.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he's the one that wins it all. When everything falls apart and he fights for survival, like he creates a TV show, he goes against the courts. In the end, he still wins. He goes back to who he was, and he goes back to making money, and everything else, as it falls apart. But he's still on his own too.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something. Before we started shooting, because this series, it's De Niro versus Pacino. Is any of Pacino's characters simp-like?
No. Doesn't come. Okay, maybe close. Not to that level, stooping down that low. Hands and knees, groveling for a woman. Please love me. I have all this money in the world for you. No, not at all. Even if he's at the face of, whatever, runs this little empire, whatever. No. Pacino never played no roles. I don't think he'd know how to play those roles. Because imagine that voice on his knees groveling, take me back.
Yeah.
Take what I can give you.
Yeah.
It's not convincing. De Niro at least can kind of feign it a little bit. Like, he doesn't sound like a pussy either.
Yeah.
He's like, come on. Give me the world. Come on. Take it. Choose.
Yeah. I mean,
let me be a simp.
you look at Scarface. He when he has the fallout with Elvie, he says, "Let her go. Another Quaalude, she's gonna love me again."
Yeah.
Like he knew that he was so confident in himself. He knew that he couldn't lose her. He knew that she would come back. And then you see it in Godfather. He did something that Sam could have done, which is get rid of Lester Diamond, get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
Because that's the only person that was a threat to the relationship.
Yeah.
If he would have killed him, all would have been over with. In The Godfather, when Connie was being beat by Carlo, to resolve that issue, all he had to do is he got rid of Carlo.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she hated him for a point, but she ended up coming back and crying at his feet and wanting to be around Michael.
Right.
Okay, and you see it even in Tony Montana. He knew just the best way. Once he got rid of Frank, Elvie was for the taking. Like there was nothing to stand in his way.
Right, and if anything, she knew better than to try to double cross him or play anything against him.
Yeah.
But she got so fearful of him, she ended up leaving anyway.
Yeah. I got Nick the pig for it. Yeah. But that's interesting. That's interesting. You watching Real Talk Though? Hi, I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who this?
This is the first of a series. Pacino versus De Niro. De Niro versus Pacino. And I'm Team De Niro. Who this is Team Pacino. And towards the end, we'll discover who's the better of the two. Once and for all.
Clear cut winner.
Yeah.